tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is, how sweet it is to be together, here and now in unity. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma tov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Thank you, guys. Stay right here. So this group of people, you all know them. There are a couple of others who are part of this special group, Jordana Levine and Elaine Springer, who aren't here this evening. But this group has been studying with me the art of leading prayer. I've mentioned this before, I think, but I wanted to recognize them because last night was the final session of our 6-session course on training to be prayer leaders. And as we know, very sadly, in not even a couple of months anymore. In 6 weeks, Rabbi Megan is going to be moving back to Seattle. And so I'm going to be the only full-time rabbi here. And I've trained this group to lead services with Stephanie and Shai in my absence. They have done an outstanding job learning. They're ready to go. And next Friday night, 3 of them, Howard, Jen, and Elaine, are going to be on the bima with Stephanie and Shai for their debut to lead us in prayer. I hope that you'll come. I hope you'll make the effort to be here. We planned the service last night. They're all ready to go. Howard is going to give the guest sermon. All I have to do is just sit in the front row. I don't have to do anything. It's great. So I want to say thank you to our wonderful group of lay prayer leaders. Thank you for taking on this responsibility. Thanks for studying with me and for bringing your special gifts and unique voices to our congregation in prayer. We're really looking forward to next week. Shabbat Shalom. Let's take a moment to turn to the people around us and wish each other Shabbat Shalom. Ooh, that's... Tonight, we have a special guest tonight. I'm going to introduce her formally in a little bit, but before we start our prayer service, I just want to take a moment to say something about why Rabbi Mary Zamor is here this evening. So, Rabbi Zamor is the soon-to-be outgoing executive director of the Women's Rabbinic Network, where she has served for 11 years. And the work of this organization is very important in elevating, supporting female rabbis in our reform movement. And I brought her here because I think it's important. Even now, the reform movement has been ordaining women rabbis since 1972, more than half a century. And yet, there's still so much for us to learn about what it means to be a female rabbi, and the challenges that our female colleagues face, and the incredible achievements and contributions that women have made to the rabbinate. Now, sadly, we know that disparity between men and women has a long history in Jewish tradition, all the way back to the Torah itself, of course. But the subordination of women, whether extreme or more subtle, does more than preserve a tradition. It signals what is good or bad, in quotes, for women to be. After centuries of reinforcement, those signals endure. After all, we read the Torah every Shabbat throughout the year, and there's a lot in there that reflects subordination of women in ways that are quite uncomfortable. So it's no wonder that challenges persist for women in the rabbinate. Jewish women and girls deserve better. That's why I'm grateful the Reform movement became the first to ordain women. Female rabbis' presence on the bima, in classrooms, at gravesides, and across Jewish life sends a different signal to our daughters and our sons alike. That biblical morality, for all its wisdom, is sometimes wrong, especially about women. It signals that women and girls can and should lead, create, and contribute fully in every sphere of life. And the tradition must sometimes change to align with what we know is right. We shouldn't still need to say this in 2026, but we do. That's why I invited Rabbi Zamor to speak tonight, and why I'm excited for you to learn from her. So, in just a bit, we will hear from Rabbi Mary Zamor. And Rabbi, I'm so glad that you're here with us this evening. We're going to begin on page 13, and because of Rabbi Zamor's special visit here, most, maybe even all, okay, yeah. Most of the music that we've selected for this evening is music composed by female composers, and we want to celebrate those beautiful contributions. We're going to start on page 13, Psalm 96, Shiru Ladonai.
God a new song. Sing unto God and
I'd like to ask you to take the yellow cards now from the pew in front of you and join me in reading our vivid vision. We are an open and inclusive congregation committed to the full and equal participation of every member. Our mission is to support each other in defining and being our authentic Jewish selves. We are based on the 5 pillars of the Jewish tradition. Torah, stimulating Jewish learning for people of all ages that transforms the way we see and live in the world. Avodah, traditional and modern worship, enhanced by the joy of music, which meets the diverse spiritual needs of 21st century Jews. Gemilut Chasadim, acts of kindness, caring, and social action that touch our congregants' lives and make our wider community a better place. Kehila, building community and giving our members a feeling of belonging. And Israel, recognizing the special relationship of Jews throughout the world and the unique and essential bond that we share with the state of Israel. Just as a tree with strong roots can withstand any storm and bear abundant fruit, so too can a community with a deep foundation flourish and grow through any transition. Page 20.
Kala, pene Shabbat nekabela, lecha dodi, likrat kala, pene Shabbat nekabela. Shamor vezachor b'dibur echad, ishmianu el hamiuchad, Adonai echad u'shmo. תפארת ולתהילה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
If it's your custom to rise, I invite you to do so. Verse 9.
בואי קלה, בואי קלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי, לקראת קלה,
read together on the bottom of page 25. And so we understand that ordinary people are messengers of the Most High. They go about their tasks in holy anonymity, often even unknown to themselves. Yet if they had not been there, if they had not said what they said or did what they did, it would not be the way it is now. We would not be the way we are now. Never forget that you too yourself may be a messenger, perhaps even one whose errand extends over several lifetimes. Page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem Leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruchuni Leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzidchem Leshalom, Malachi Hashalom, Malachi Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchi Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Page 28, please rise.
Lai, 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 lai,
We'll continue on page 30 with a setting by Chava Morel. If you remember, a little over 2 years ago for my installation, Chava is my childhood song leader. And this was written before she got super famous in the Jewish world, and I would sing it every single Friday night at my synagogue. And so when we were thinking of female people who to sing their music, melodies, artists, that's the word I was looking for, I suggested to bring in Chava, and we haven't done this one since my installation, and so we'll continue on page 30.
Ya lie, 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 lie. Ya lie, 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 lie. Ya lie, 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 lie. Ya lie, 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 lie.
לעיתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר את הכוכבים, במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך, לחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו. Yalai, lai, 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 lai. Yalai, lai, 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 lai. Yalai, lai, 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 lai. Yalai, lai, 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 lai. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu, le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'ma'ariv ha'ravim.
Page 33 at the top, together. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam, Leolam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam, Leolam Va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai. You shall love, love with all of your heart, your soul, and with all of your might. You shall teach, teach your children to hope, to love, and to know what is right. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai, yai lai. Adonai, Adonai Echad.
On 41. Sing the song of men and women joined in understanding and respect, the song of God's miracles, an earth protected and cherished, a gift for our children and the generations to come, the song of a land once ravished by war, now quiet and content, her soldiers home to leave no more, the song of a world redeemed, the song of peace.
Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha va'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot oseh melech, nora tehilot oseh melech. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Bichamocha, who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Let's read on the top of middle of page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into the long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haparei sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim, on the opposite page.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'ha'amidenu, shomreinu l'chayim, l'chayim. Ufros aleinu, sukat shlom ufros as I lay me down, may I feel peace all around, shelter beneath your wings. May I feel safe and protected until a new day begins. Hashkifeinu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'ha'amideinu, shomreinu l'chaim, l'chaim. Amen.
Page 44.
V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, la'asot et HaShabbat לדורותם ברית עולם, ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
Page 46, please rise.
אדוני שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מכלכל הכל ברחמים רבים, צומק נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומדום מלך, מלך מביט ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. בכל יום יהללוך סלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. עושה שלום במרומיו,
Page 62.
הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו amen.
We now think of those who are in need of healing, whether it's healing of mind, of body, of spirit, or of soul. If you're thinking of anyone and would like to share their name out loud, feel free to do so as my hand goes around the room. We think of all those names said out loud, all those in our hearts, and all those around the world who are in need of healing. And we turn to page 253 from Yeshaberach.
Yeshaberach Avoteinu Mekor habracha Libo against the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishavera imoteinu mekor habracha lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Close your books. Settle in. We have a wonderful guest this evening, Rabbi Mary Zamor. She brings a great deal of experience and depth in her work as executive director of the Women's Rabbinic Network. Having been a member since her ordination in 1997, and then serving as co-president from 2007 to 2009. Rabbi Zamor is the editor of The Sacred Exchange, Creating a Jewish Money Ethic, published by the CCAR Press. I'm honored to have a piece in that book. And she's the editor of The Sacred Table, Creating a Jewish Food Ethic, a finalist, which was a finalist for the National Jewish Book Awards. And she continues to teach at synagogues and JCCs across the country. Before joining WRN professionally in 2015, Rabbi Zamor served congregations in Westfield, Morristown, and Washington, New Jersey. As part of her work with WRN, Rabbi Zamor is the co-leader of the Reform Pay Equity Initiative, which addresses the wage gap within the reform movement. And she's a leading voice in accountability and repair work to create safe, just, and equitable communities. Rabbi Zamor has been named a Teruah Rabbinic Human Rights Hero and a WRJ Women's Empowerment recipient. She's a member of Illuminates Collective and was a fellow in UJA New York Federation / Columbia Business School's Institute for Jewish Executive Leadership. Please join me in welcoming Rabbi Mary Zamor.
Yeah, I might need the bar mitzvah step. Okay, is that good?
Is that good?
How's that for the level? Thumbs up? Okay, good. I've been told I should speak directly into the microphone. So, first of all, thank you for the very warm welcome. And you can really tell a lot about a congregation when you walk in and people stop and greet you and welcome you and say Shabbat Shalom. So thank you to all of you for that very warm welcome. As well, what a pleasure to pray with you. What beautiful, beautiful music, Stephanie and Shai. And to my colleagues, Rabbi Stoller, Rabbi Brumer, thank you so much for inviting me this Shabbat. It is an honor to be here, and as you know, I'll be speaking about basically what's up with women in the rabbinate. How are we doing? But I just want to really recognize your unique history here at Temple Beth-El. Of course, as I hope you all know, that Cantor Barbara Asfeld, the first woman to be then invested, now called ordained cantor, served here from 1976 to 1988. And Rabbi Deborah Hirsch was the first woman to serve as an assistant rabbi. And as you have heard, Rabbi Rachel Van Tyne is going to be my successor as the incoming ED of WRN. Of course, she also served here, and there are many friends and colleagues who served in between. So good on you. We're going to make this a little bit more interactive today. So as I speak for the next about 15 minutes, if I'll have a few open-ended questions for you all. But let me tell you, obviously, the Women's Rabbinic Network is a legacy women's organization. We are partner of the Reform Movement, and today we're proud to include female-identified, gender-fluid, and non-binary members. And we do direct support of our members in the ups and downs, and God willing, ups again, of their professional and personal journeys. We do education and many other things. And we also do advocacy that stems out of our lived experiences in the world. But I'll tell you, growing up not far from here in Garden City, I know, hard to believe, right? I never, ever would have predicted that I would be the executive director of a legacy women's organization. It was not my vision of feminism in high school or in college. Frankly, I didn't believe in single-gendered organizations at the time. I believed that to be a active woman in the world, I should be side by side with men, striving to be and to prove I can be equal. And I think it's important for context, not for name dropping, that at Garden City High School I felt that way, and in college, at Columbia College, I felt that way, even though when I entered, it was only the 4th year of co-education. Of course, Barnard was across the street, so there was already an acclimation to having women on campus, but it was different to be in a classroom and to be graduated from a college that was such a long time holdout, frankly, for co-education. But it was only when I got to Hebrew Union College, my beloved seminary that ordained all of us, that I really understood the need for a single-gendered organization, one dedicated to lifting up women. And I'm going to tell you more about that in a moment. So this question of what are the ongoing challenges, let's just take a look back so we can appreciate and celebrate how far we've come. You've already gotten a few spoilers there from Rabbi Stoller, both in his beautiful words and in the Facebook post that he did earlier today, his Devar Torah. So this is a test for everybody here. This is the participatory part. So I'm actually going to go back a little bit further. So let's just stop with Rabbi Sally Presand, my dear friend and our colleague. What year was she ordained? Can you just shout it out? Yep, 1972. Just for fun, that was the year that Dartmouth became co-ed. That is the year the FBI allowed women agents. That is the year that many Protestant denominations also opened up to women as ministers and pastors. So very important. Now, when we talk about Rabbi Presand, we often say she's the first woman to be ordained. But in truth, that is not the way to really say it. There's a very nuanced way to say it, to make it truer. I guess is the way to say it, truer. You could say she's the first woman in America. You could say, which I like to say it this way, to be publicly ordained, although I hear that there's a book coming out soon that will disprove that perhaps. That is up for debate, to be publicly ordained rather than privately ordained. So perhaps the best way to discuss Rabbi Presand is that her ordination opened up a permanent path for women to be ordained as rabbis and then later as cantors. And in fact, we like to talk about, at WRN, about Rabbi Presand and the actions of HUC as opening doors for women and for many other people of many beautiful identities that would take much more time, but it's important to note that. So let's go a little bit further back. So who was perhaps, I'm going to put a perhaps on that because history is always unfolding, we're always learning more things about the world. Who was the first woman to be ordained? What year? Does anyone know? Just Okay, yes, Rabbi Stoller, a ringer. We have a ringer in the house. Yes. Regina Jonas, exactly. Yep. So in 1935, and this is the shocker, just think about this, Nazi Germany, 1935, in Berlin. I know. And this history both lifts my heart and breaks my heart at the same time. And I highly recommend the biography about her. And as I said, there's another book coming out by one of our European colleagues, rather, that's hopefully will be translated to English soon after. Rabbi Jonas, as I said, was privately ordained. That's important. And maybe there's evidence that she was publicly accepted in that ordination. But for now, we're just going to say privately ordained, and we'll let the history books perhaps disprove that in the next coming years. Believe it or not, for her ordination, she attended seminary, and for her thesis, we all do a rabbinic thesis or capstone, she was asked to write on, can women be rabbis? Just think about that heavy lifting, right? You have to prove in your own rabbinic thesis that you could be ordained, and of course then in the 11th hour they denied her ordination. So she was privately ordained at that time. She did not believe in Reform Judaism, by the way. So this is the part that breaks my heart. She, of course, was in Nazi Germany, as many of the male rabbis of that time, the only rabbis, fled the country or were imprisoned. Her opportunities grew for that of just being a teacher, not just, but for being a teacher. Obviously, she wanted to do more with her rabbinate, but that's what the box that the time allowed her to be in. And as there were fewer and fewer male-identified rabbis, the opportunities grew for her. And in fact, when she was deported to Theresienstadt, she did preaching and teaching and pastoral care there, which is extraordinary. Extraordinary. And unfortunately, she was deported to Auschwitz in 1944 in the fall, and there died. And in fact, we mark her Yortzeit at Parshat Bereshit because that was the week of her death. And there are many women, and I'm not going to name them all at all, who would be rabbis. Women who studied side by side with men and were denied ordination, often in the 11th hour. I just want to mention especially Martha Newmark, who was denied ordination in Cincinnati. And in 1939, Helen Leventhal was denied ordination at the Jewish Institute of Religion, then on West 68th Street near Lincoln Center, right next door to Stephen Wise Free Synagogue, because Rabbi Wise founded both institutions. When she went through all the classes, literally all the classes with her male classmates, and got the highest grades in every single subject, Rabbi Wise was said on the topic of ordaining her, it would distract from the dignity and force of the rabbinate for her classmates. And that should not be a surprise because earlier Rabbi Wise, who did many other wonderful things, however not this one, said that there were already too many women sitting in the pews. I want you to keep that in mind. He opened JIR, I believe in 1921 or 22. Rabbi Dr. Shirley Idelson, our colleague, has a phenomenal book about the history of JIR, including these parts. So just let's put that on the table as we plow forward as we think about where we are today. So lots of proud history. It should be no surprise to anybody here that women can be rabbis. We look across the Jewish world and we see that not only are there tons of women rabbis, and when we say tons, we're a small community in general, we Jews, right? So my guesstimate, because people ask me this all the time, my educated guesstimate is that if you go across all the mainstream movements of Judaism, you get probably around 1,500 to maybe 1,800 women who are rabbis. And that is across Reform, Conservative, Reconstructionist, Reconstructionist, which is now called Reconstructioning, and Orthodoxy. Yeshivat Maharat now ordains Orthodox women rabbis who come out with their choice of title, of rabbah, of maharat, of rabbi, and they serve throughout the world. They are doing extraordinary work, and I've had the proud pleasure of coming in to teach them as a guest lecturer and to work with them and Yeshivat Maharat as a consultant. Really has been extraordinary to be able to bring our history and our experience to help and support them in their journey. So it is no surprise to all of you that women can be rabbis. I'm sure if we go deeper into the woods of Great Neck, we would find many people who would be extraordinarily surprised or at least not so happy about it. But we, of course, have broken many, many stained glass ceilings. And I always talk about the fact that we have our broader meta history, and then we have the individual history. So here, again, at Temple Beth-El, you have a proud history of really living out Reform values, that of egalitarianism, of social justice. And so it is of no surprise to you, and I don't come here to give you that news. If we look across the greater Jewish world, both for Jews and non-Jews, I would argue that one of the most recognizable rabbis at this moment in history is Rabbi Angela Beth-El. And in fact, I'm proud to say today the New York Public Library named her book, I think the book of the month, to recommend it to everybody to read. But each individual person in their identity has to break their own stained glass ceiling sometimes. So there are many times, in fact, many times every single year, that I hear from rabbis, from lay leaders, et cetera, that they are hiring the first woman rabbi in their community. And there is a lot of, let's say, heat and hubbub around that. Or perhaps they're doing some sort of search for a new member of the clergy. And alas, they already have a woman rabbi or a woman cantor or maybe even multiple. What are they going to do when they go searching for yet another member of their staff and their clergy team? Well, I can tell you what the answer is, by the way. Pick the most qualified best match. Don't do it by gender, please. But that's a whole other story. This year, ATRA, which is an organization that focuses on supporting rabbis and is part of Hillel, did a stunning study, really wonderful, masterful study. One of the takeaways from that was the very large number of women in our seminaries. But it wasn't the only takeaway. It very much had to do with support. It very much had to do with pipeline. And it caused a lot of hubbub because, my goodness, lots of rabbis who are women. You could have asked Rabbi Stephen Wise for a quote in 1921, and I felt like you would be getting the same answer in 2026, frankly, because of the, I'm going to say it, and with this word specifically, hysteria around too many women being rabbis. And I would ask that we try to reframe these issues. So today, WRN, that was all the good news, by the way, and some little spoilers on the other news. The issues that we work on specifically today especially include, as you heard, pay equity, because there is a wage gap. And when you look at the greater American context, nobody should be surprised. In the last 2 years, the gender-based wage gap between all employees, male and female, has actually widened. Okay, participation again. Does anyone here know how many cents per dollar women in America make? I'm hearing a lot of different answers. This year it's 82. 82, according to our government. If you look at other studies, you'll find other numbers which are fairly close to that, but again, it has widened over the last 2 years, and it's expected to widen more. Paid family medical leave, by the way, and many of the corporations that have been at the forefront of that, of giving that to all of their employees of all genders, are starting to roll them back. as they're trying to be more cost effective, and they have less incentive because of course, as we all know, DEI and advancement of women in the greater workplace are now verboten ideas. We're seeing companies deconstructing them, and of course, we all know what is happening to control over women's bodies. So, where are we within the reform movement? The Reform Pay Equity Initiative, which I co-founded 10 years ago, brings together all of the organizations of the reform movement to work on these issues. We take all of the data from the professional groups, the 5 professional groups, rabbis, cantors, educators, early childhood educators, and executive directors, administrators. We take all of that data and we hire a labor economist, and every 3 years we aggregate it and we create a white paper to benchmark, that's all fancy economist language, to basically answer the question again, how are we doing? And we do it across all sorts of bands. It's not one big answer, but it's a very nuanced answer about the types of positions and the sizes of the congregations so that we can really talk in a granular way of what's happening. No surprise, women who lead the smallest size congregations throughout America have the greatest wage gap. I'm not surprised by that. If we go through the other stripes, we see that, for instance, rabbi educators who have an extra degree also have a very significant wage gap. And we see that the other stripes, they're sometimes widening, which happens every time we aggregate the data, and sometimes narrowing as well. So it's in flux. We see that in the cantors and the educators and executive directors, we've had a significant widening in the last 3 years. I'm not going to speak to exact numbers because our labor economist is working on that data right now, and we'll be publishing by the summer the report. So I'm not going to jump the gun on that, but the initial reading of our data is showing some very concerning widening of that wage gap. Paid family medical leave I've talked about, and I just want to leave with the last topic, which is, as Rabbi Stoller mentioned, accountability and repair, ensuring that our communities are safe. And WRN has been at the forefront of that. It has been very painful times, but very, very important times. And the reform movement has come to have a reckoning of historic harm that has been unprecedented. And as a result, that accountability that the URJ, the Central Conference of American Rabbis, and I'm blanking on the third group, that all of them have done, and Hebrew Union College, have all done third-party independent reports. They've all embraced accountability and repair work with those that survived and were victimized by the different biases and more, and created a very important model. And I'm very proud of the fact that we have done this together in partnership, that everybody who has done and led through this work, none of them the authors of that harm, none of them who committed the harm, but rather leading the organizations that are dedicated to repairing the harm, all of them have been committed to doing their best to make it right. And that for that, we have to be very proud. When I look at Jewish documents, I want to say it that way, the Talmud, the Responsa, and our most sacred document, which of course is the Torah and the greater Tanakh, our Bible, our Hebrew Bible. One of the things as a rabbi and as a Jew that I'm most proud of is that we don't have a glossed over history written in those documents, but rather we talk about very difficult topics, things that are not always put into one's history because they might be embarrassing, because they're difficult to talk about. And I think that in some ways is our best legacy. We have many good legacies, of course. But our ability to tell the truth and to look in a mirror and to look at ourselves and to say, our values are these and our reality is this. How can we make that closer? How can we make sure that we are actually living our Jewish values every single day as Jewish communities. And I'm very proud of the work we have done to try to make it right. And we've done it, as I said before, together. This is very important. So I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a directive. You, as I have said, have been at the forefront, and you continue to. By the way, Mazel Tov on your biggest new real estate news. Again, you've really shown many congregations a way forward. So I'm going to ask all of you, mark Jewish women's history as you do. Mark Rabbi Yonas's Yortzeit. Celebrate Rabbi Presand's ordination, June 3rd, by the way. Use the Reform Pay Equity initiatives. We have many, many resources to be able to do equitable hiring for people of all identities. Use the WRN paid family and medical leave resources. They are, I hope, an inspiration, and you can, again, apply them to everyone who works for your community. And finally, it is important that every single congregation have an ethics code, a brit, a covenant of how you relate to one another and how you keep each other safe, and to have policies and procedures and training to support that covenant. I hope that you will reflect on all of these things, continue to do your groundbreaking work, and to be part of the beautiful tradition of Judaism of finding ways to live our Jewish values every single day. Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, in honor of this, we are going to honor a strong female figure from the Torah. And if you were in my Debbie Friedman class, you will recognize this, so feel free to sing along. It's not the one you think. Arise, arise, Devorah, arise, and sing a song. Arise, arise, Devorah, Uri, Uri, Dabri, Shir. Devorah the prophet was a judge in Israel. She sat beneath her palm tree on a hill, and people came from everywhere to hear her judgments honest and fair. Devorah the prophet, Devorah, a mother in Israel. Arise, arise, Devorah, arise, and sing a song. Arise, arise, Devorah, Uri, Uri, Davri, Shir. Devorah the prophet was courageous, strong, and wise. Her people lived in peace for 40 years. The 12 tribes lived together as one for the first time since the world had begun. Devorah the prophet, Devorah, a mother in Israel. Arise, arise, Devorah, arise, and sing a song. Arise, arise, Devorah, Uri, Uri, Davi, Shir. Arise, Devorah, arise and sing a song. Arise, Devorah, Uri, Uri, Davi, Shir. Let's hear it. Arise, arise, Devorah, arise, and sing a song. Arise, arise, Devorah, Uri, Uri, Davi, Shir. Devorah the prophet, a woman of fire, her torch in hand. She led the Israelites to victory. Barak said, Devorah, I cannot fight unless you are standing right by my side. Devorah the prophet, Devorah, a mother in Israel. Arise, arise, Devorah, arise, and sing a song. Arise, arise, Devorah, a song. Arise, arise, Devorah, Uri, Uri, Davri, Shir. Uri, Uri, Davri, Shir.
Thank you, guys. That's a great song. Great energy. Asher Koach. Let's turn now to page 259 to pray for the people and the state of Israel.
Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'golo. Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'golo. Israel, Rishit Tzvichat Kehulatenu, Ayin Eleha, Mevrat Chastecha, Ufros Eleha, Sukat Shelomecha. Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'golo. Avinu, Avinu, Shebashamayim, Tzur Yisrael v'golo.
Page 258. Together, the prayer for our country. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen. On page 278, I'd like to invite you to please rise as we count the Omer linking freedom of the Exodus to responsibility of Sinai, which we'll celebrate at Shavuot. Together in English at the top. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat haomer. Our praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer. Today is the 30th day, which is 4 weeks and 2 days of the Omer. Page 282.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שנאנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו בהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
seated. We think of now those who are no longer with us but are always with us in our hearts. This week we think of Marcel Lenga, who has not yet been buried, and Michael Nassau, who passed away this week, and Roselle Wolf in the past 30 days, and the yahrzeits of Andrea Braswell, Odilo Burkhart, Gertrude Freiser, Jack Green, Seymour David Gounod, Dee Guritsky, Sarah Bach Ruben Halimi, Martin J. Cohn, Michael Levine, Herb Weiner, Martin Mickey Weiss, and Elizabeth Schwab. If you have a name to add to the list and would like to share it out loud, feel free to do so as my hand goes around the room. Thank you. We think of all those names said out loud and all those in our hearts. And we turn to page 294 and rise if it is your custom for Mortis Kaddish. Yitkadal vid kadash me rabba, be'alma divrach urte v'amlich malchute, b'chayechon uv'mechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehe shme rabba mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'alal shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all of Israel and all the world. And we say together, Amen.
Amen. Remain standing, please. We're going to chant Kiddush and Motzi. But first, a question. Somebody in this chapel is performing a concert of their original music on Thursday night. Who is it? Shai Kedmi, the one and only, will be in concert performing his original music to benefit the Susan Stumer Center for Cultural Arts. Please, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, do so this week. $18 for a ticket, and you are in for a phenomenal show.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava u'v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'v'ratzon Inchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, Hamotzi lechem min haaretz, B'te'avot.
Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Thank you too. Oh, totally. Yeah, a medley, a special version of 70 minutes of that song.
Yeah. He'll be singing his original song, but in his mind he'll be playing Arise, Arise.
Or maybe I'll do all my songs to Arise, Arise. Maybe. Thank you for your kind words, Rob. I so appreciate that. Oh, by the way, we're going to have dinner.
Thank you. Where tonight?
We haven't discussed that yet. Awesome. That makes me happy. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take Elsa on a walk, and then I'll come back, and we'll do it that way. I'm down for whatever.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ask them if they want to do that instead. What, the Italian? Thank you.
Great picture on that page. Is that you?
It is me.
Wow.
It is a while.
Clean shaven, so clean shaven.
I'm not going to get clean shaven now. I'm 12 if I do that.
You did a beautiful job. Thanks, Jason. Oh, my pleasure. Shy, I just need to know, like, who's in the middle? Drums?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, just a tiny thing. I changed the gain on two of the piano channels, the left and right, from 18 to 20. Just the gain, not the faders.
I'll hit save again.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It felt like I got more piano that
I
way.
try to do a save at the beginning and a save at the end. Try to get, you know, you can see the
Excellent.
Yeah.
We're like flailing. We have to figure out what we're going to do.
was like, the peanut butter treat was okay. When I opened the next bag, chicken flavor treat, I've never seen her jump. She's jumping in the air. I didn't even take anything out of it. I just opened the bag. And then she's howling. I'm like, shh, they're gonna hear you. Thank God the door is like super like proof door, soundproof. They didn't hear her. She's like, oh. Like, no. And now I got her to say, I go sit, she sits, and then she gets the treat up.
Yeah, actually, there are a few that I left out, which I was surprised by.
She's like, yeah.
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 It's nice to be, that's the mission, to be able to have you
She's run over to me now. I'm the treat guy. Elsa.
Oh, yeah, I played it.
There was two of them. One passed away.
No. I haven't played my music in,
Just got it. I got that on Saturday.
so, yeah, I always say, like, there's some people who have, like, stage bugs, but they feel like they want to be on stage, and there's nothing wrong with it, it's a personality thing. But I've never had that, I'm perfectly happy being behind the piano, and whenever I want to, express my music and recording, I don't have this need, like, for everyone to say, hey, see me, hear me, But I felt, first of all, I felt really honored that I was asked to do this, and I think it's a real ammunition for growth. It puts your mindset in a different place. You get to experience something different, and I will be better for it. Whatever it will be, I'll be better for it. And especially to play in front of such a supportive community.
I don't know anything special in it. Yeah, but that is, yeah. No, so I don't want to do that. If he's gonna be one of the coolest things in his life, hopefully he'll be there. They have a bed for him. Oh, yeah, he lives upstate, so it's like, 2.5 hours, so he's got some other, we go back to the down here. Yeah, early. Parties every day. What stand is this? Light 19 TV. So everybody's picking. Later. Kevin, they're supposed to leave me 2 tablecloths that are rectangle. Don't know where those are. And can we use this table?
Yeah.
Should I stay? I just need a tablecloth on it. That's all. No, for Saturday. I told you.
I mean, no, I know there's no Saturday for,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
so you're not coming up here,
No, I just do the first thing.
which is downstairs,
Yeah. I'm setting all this up in bed right now.
for tomorrow.
No, for the Thursday show.
Thursday.
But all that whole room
Yeah.
has to now come out to here. All the drums, all those 20s. I didn't even get a video.
Dun, dun, dun.